And tonight from the Big A in Anaheim, California, the American League's two top teams square off in maybe as highly anticipated a series as you will find in the month of April. The 13-2 Red Sox taking on the Japanese sensation Shohei Ohtani. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. A beautiful night for baseball. I know we haven't said that a whole lot lately back at Fenway Park, but so good to have Johnny Gomes alongside Garen Austin in just a couple of moments. Johnny, great to see you for these next 6, and what a way to kick it off for this road trip.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, here we are in the 17th, of this month right now. We have a full-blown heavyweight bout on our hands.
Well, it should be very entertaining. When you look at these clubs and you break down both teams, I think what really stands out is what good offenses they are.
Yeah, and that unique part about that is both ball clubs have brand new hitting coaches. So how fast they adjusted to their new hitting coach and the hitting coach adjusted to the players, proof's in the pudding right there.
Well, we're talking about Shohei Ohtani now, a guy who throws 100 miles an hour, and when he's not doing that and striking people out, he's hitting home runs as a designated hitter. Baseball, modern baseball, has not seen anything like this.
Yeah, since the game has started, to tell you the truth, I mean, this guy's got 2 wins already and 3 home runs. Both his wins, both his outings have come against the Oakland Athletics, who we also saw in spring training out in Arizona. So this is going to be a whole new look for him. And I'll tell you what, the AL East, he's going to get a taste of it.
You faced him when you were playing over in Japan. Dying to hear about that experience, how it went for you and for Ohtani. And David Price up against it tonight, a very, very good ball club that he'll be facing, the left-hander on the mound, as the Red Sox begin a 9-game road trip into the warmth and sunshine of California. Great night for baseball coming your way next.
By Dunkin' Donuts, America runs on Dunkin'. Lexus and the Lexus Strikes Out Hunger program. By Plain Ridge Park Casino, Murphy's Boxing returns Saturday, April 28th. Visit murphysboxing.com. And by your New England Audi dealers, get behind the wheel of the Audi you've always wanted. Perfect night for a ball game here in Southern California. Johnny Gomes, Dave O'Brien, and Garen Austin. When we toss it down to Garen. Garen, I know you had a chance to talk with Mookie Betts earlier today. He's in the lineup. How's he feeling?
Right, Mookie Betts is back in the lineup, and I actually talked to Alex Cora first. And Cora said that Betts came in early. He was on the field running, and he told Cora, he said he feels good and he's ready to go. I caught up with Betts, and he said that he's been feeling really good. He said it didn't bother him initially. However, the day after it happened, that's when his foot really started to become painful. However, he feels good, excited to be back in the lineup, and glad that he only missed 1 game. And it'll be a little bit later. I'll have an update on Xander Bogaerts.
Okay, thanks, Garen. Now the Red Sox lineup tonight has Mookie Betts at the very top and also has Brock Holt at shortstop. It'll be Eduardo Nunez at second base. And it got to the ballpark today. I think a lot of us expected maybe to see Zue Lin in there at short. But I'll tell you what, this is one thing, Johnny, we've found to be true with Alex Cora. He'll look at a lot of things. He'll break down the analytics. He'll take a long, hard look. And he decided that Brock Holt was a better fit tonight against Ohtani than maybe the younger Zue Lin.
Yeah, that's one thing I think we've seen so far about Alex Cora is it's not a gut feeling. It's not a coin flip. You know he's going to have numbers behind it, and I'm talking sabermetric numbers, not batting average, not hitting the ball to the left or right, really diving in to the best lineup for tonight.
Here's a look at that lineup now, brought to you by Toyota's website for deals, buyatoyota.com. After Mookie Betts, Andrew Benintendi, then Hanley Ramirez at first base. JD Martinez is the designated hitter. Rafael Devers at third, hitting out of the 5 spot. Nunez at second base, then Jackie Bradley in center field, batting 7th. Christian Vasquez does the catching, and Brock Holt is at shortstop tonight and hitting 9th. And up against the right-hander, Shohei Ohtani coming in 2-0, a 2.08 ERA. He has 18 strikeouts. All of them have been swinging. The phenom from Japan, the talk of baseball, and he is selling tickets. The Angels drew almost 45,000 the last start he made. They're going to get a huge crowd here tonight as well to watch him pitch.
Yeah, and that's just it. They're here to watch Ohtani. But behind him, if they put the ball in play, it would be Kozar, Simmons, 3 Gold Gloves with a platinum, Newey, Angel, and Kinsler, Marte at first base. And then all the way at the end, we got Justin Upton, the man, Mike Trout, and Calhoun holding it down to right field. The battery, of course, Ohtani throwing to Maldonado, probably the only guy in the league that can hang with Vasquez in arm strength.
Gold Glover, in fact, the umpires are brought to you by Toyota's website for deals, buyatoyota.com. That's Vic Carapazza behind the plate. Jordan Baker at first, Greg Gibson at second, Jerry Lane, the umpire, at third. Where available, this telecast can be heard in Spanish by selecting the SAP button on your TV remote. SAP presented by Toyota. Visit Comper2Toyota.com to see Toyota deals not seen on TV. So Ohtani finishing up his warm-up tosses. Right at the top, we were talking about the fact, Johnny, that you faced him when you played in Japan. So you got a first-hand look. What can the Red Sox expect tonight?
Yeah, I tell you what, I definitely didn't jump a plane flight for 15 hours to face what he was offering out there. I thought I was going to see something a little different. But to tell you the truth, had no idea about him. Obviously, he's been a sensation since he was in high school. Found out the hard way when I got there.
Well, Mookie Betts seeing him right away. Mookie at .353, 2 homers, 10 runs batted in, back after sitting out Saturday's game against the Orioles after that contusion of the left foot in a home plate collision against Baltimore. And the first one. A little high for ball one at 94, and we're underway.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, too, to see the approach, the offensive approach from the Red Sox. I was guilty of it, and you can be guilty of it at times. When you haven't seen a pitcher, you want to just see one. You want to see what it looks like. You want to see the spin. You know, there can be the 94, 95, and there's 94, 95. That's heavy. It looks faster. But I tell you what, against this guy, if you get a look, you're already down a strike. And it's good to be aggressive just like that.
Well, the Red Sox were set to miss the right-hander, at least as a pitcher, until Sunday's Angels and Kansas City game was called because of the wind chill. It was 18 degrees. So he was pushed back to tonight. And it becomes a marquee matchup against the 2 top teams in the American League. Hard grounded but foul by Mookie. Benintendi on deck.
And then again, kind of what Darvish, really started was not going into the windup. Just the stretch that you'll see. Normally you'll see him go over his head, side tilt, and then really get that momentum going forward. He's going right from the stretch as if someone's on base when there's no one on base.
1-2. Now that split that he bounced up there, that's the first one Mookie gets a look at. How good is that split?
Yeah, that split. I tell you what, out of any off speed that's coming out of a 100-mile-an-hour arm speed, just has to be good. Because, you talk about the spin rate, the new generation of spin rate. Well, spin rate's generated by the arm speed. If you throw 100 miles an hour, you can go ahead and pick the off speed. It's going to be plus.
2-2. Fills up the count on Mookie Betts. Mookie had an excellent homestand. 11 out of 39 RBIs over 9 games. We scored 13 runs. Sox have been scoring in bunches.
That's exactly it. When you're talking about those statistics from a guy at the top of your lineup, you're going to see a lot of those wins shoot to the roof like they have.
3-2. High pop toward right field, sailing toward the line, and that is going to drop foul.
Now, granted, is the leadoff guy, but Mookie is kind of like the guinea pig right here. He's got to relay all this information back to the 8th guy. How'd that split look? Does it pop out of his hand? Does it dive down? And then again, working all the way to a 3-2 count right here. In a 3-2 count, it's going to tell you what he's most confident in. With him going to the heater right there, he's obviously going to want to establish his heater and save his strikeout stuff till later.
Ohtani took a perfect game into the 7th inning back on April 8th against Oakland. Leaving after allowing 1 hit, walking 1. He struck out 12. 3-2 again. High fly ball, well hit, deep left, back. Gone! Shohei Ohtani say hello to Mookie Betts. His 3rd of the season. A heck of an at-bat. He touches them all, and the Sox lead it 1-0.
Yeah, that's just exactly it. There's one thing he always had in his pocket, and that's a high-velocity fastball that will work majority of the time in Japan. But the hitters here, the AL East hitters, the American League is a velocity hitting league. And you saw it right there. That's velocity down at the lower half. Actually not a bad pitch, but he was able to foul that one off 3-2 to earn that to score, change the score.
Apparently that foot is okay. Speedway donates $500 to Boston Children's Hospital for every Red Sox homer. Register your Speedy Rewards Club now. You'll qualify to choose some great rewards. So the Sox jump out in front as Mookie, with their great smile, smacks his 3rd home run of the season. First encounter with Ohtani. And he goes downtown. Benintendi hitting .269. Pops that foul out of play, but .385 over his last 6 games.
I tell you what, the ball's flying in these gaps right here. Over in right field, they took that yellow line, which is the home run line, and they moved it below the scoreboard where it used to be above the scoreboard, and some balls are flying out to the gaps here. So this is going to be a big ballpark right here. Obviously, we're closer to the ocean with this, but some balls are going to be flying. And that's his first slider right there. And again, it's going to be tough to see what it is, slider or split or changeup with the high velocity and it doing a lot of dancing. So they're just going to have to go to that Rolodex and make these mental notes on every single pitch.
Ball flying in warm weather. Nice to come to the ballpark and it's not 38 degrees down into the dirt. Sox are coming off a homestand where the average game time temperature was 43. And adjusting for wind chill, the temperatures were 22, 29, 33, 29, 38.
Yeah, those might be the numbers of the SPF that you have to wear out here.
Yeah. Beautiful day here. Another one on the way tomorrow, and the day after, and the day after. 3-1. Of course, Benintendi's been walking a lot. Wanted to hack away foul, tipped it. 3-2.
3-2, 2 batters in right here. Mookie going to a 3-2 count, working them. Fouled the ball off. And then Benny coming in here with the 3-2 count. I think that ball got in on him. I don't think he was looking that in. You saw that kind of emergency swing. 3-1.
Toward the hole, scooped up by Kinsler, though. New face for the Angels this year, Ian Kinsler. And 1 man gone. Red Sox at 13-2, baseball's best record, best start in club history. Just went 8-1 on the homestand, which was shortened by Monday's rainout. And Mookie Betts with a leadoff home run, getting the Red Sox in front. That'll send up Hanley Ramirez. Now Hanley 333, 3 homers, 15 driven in.
So again, every single at bat and every single pitch is going to be a learning process. So far he hasn't thrown an off-speed pitch for a strike. He hasn't thrown an off-speed pitch 0-0. And that's why you want to look for it right there. He's going to save it probably for the middle of the lineup guys.
Slider there. Occasional curveball.
So this is also a big learning pitch right here. So he goes off speed. Is he going to back his off speed or is he going to go back to his heater?
97 with that 4-seamer. Well, no single player for the Red Sox can claim more responsibility for this start, I think, than Hanley Ramirez. With the start he's gotten off to. Snapped a 10-game hitting streak on Sunday. Over that streak, he hit almost .390. One ball and 2 strikes. JD Martinez would be next.
This is a pitch right here. Good location. You don't see that glove move too much. Obviously starting him off speed and backing it with 96 right there. He is in the driver's seat right here. Hanley's going to be a little defensive.
2-2. And of course, when he doesn't pitch, he'll often be found as the designated hitter. Goes every 6 days. 6-man rotation here for Mike Scioscia and the Angels, at least at this point in the season. Now, he will not hit tomorrow. He does not hit the day after he starts, so he'll only appear as a hitter in the last game of the series on Thursday. Little blooper towards center. That's going to drop down for a base hit. So Hanley's on with a single. Red Sox with 2 hits against Ohtani.
I brought it up in the beginning. At any given point in Ohtani's career, playing over in Japan, he could always reach back with his high velocity fastball and almost knock the bat as some of those guys' hands are over there. Obviously, Mookie Betts getting a taste of it right there. Hanley getting a taste for it. He's going to have to start throwing his off speed for strikes. And when they're strikes, make sure they're not hanging and they have to be in good hitters' counts.
JD Martinez, the DH tonight, 268, 3 homers, 13 driven in, and 3 home runs in his last 8 games. And he's out of the cold of Fenway, which probably denied him a couple of home runs on that homestand. And a breaking ball will miss.
Yeah, and as a hitter, to be able to log his off speed early on in your at bat and have for a ball that it doesn't put you in a hill, in a hole with a hitting machine that JD is. And again, that right center is in play here, and his swing goes that way, and you saw it for all those homers in Arizona and Detroit.
On the edge of the plate, according to Carapazza, 1-1.
If Ohtani wants to stay out there, watch out, because this guy can back and handle that outer half and shoot the ball to right center over the fence.
Maybe a little something extra there from the man behind home plate. Runner at first, and 1 down, a run in. Ohtani was a sensation in Japan. He threw the hardest fastball ever recorded there by a high schooler, which was 99 miles an hour as a high school kid. Made his pro debut at 18 for the Nippon Ham Fighters, and later he would hit 102.5 miles an hour as a professional. That's the hardest pitch ever thrown in Japan.
Yeah, and as you mentioned it right there, obviously from 18 to 19 making his pro debut, the #1 picks over there, the elite guys, the 1 of 1, don't go to the minors. They go from high school right to the big leagues. Obviously doesn't happen here in the States with there being 6, 7, possibly 8 levels underneath the big leagues. High school, his next start on a big league pro field.
2-2 to Martinez. He won't chase. Red Sox, of course, were one of several clubs with very serious interest in Ohtani in the winter of 2017, when Major League Baseball reached an agreement with Japan's major leagues to post him so he could come to the United States, which he said at the end of his high school career he wanted to do. He wanted to go right to the majors in the U.S. Did he go? Yes, he did. That's strike 3. So he picks up his first K, gets JD Martinez on a swing and a miss, and there are 2 gone.
So again, one of the things you want to do as a hitter is you never want to tip your hat to a ball. Granted, that was a nasty slider right there and had the confidence to throw it to 3-2, but there's no such thing as an unhittable strike. So if he was able to lay off that right there, you got runner on second, third, and he's pushing 24 pitches, which is a lot for 1 out in the first inning.
Rafael Devers now 250 with a homer, 10 runs batted in. And it skips right on by to the backstop, and Hanley will trot up to second base on a wild pitch.
Yeah, boy, was that a wild pitch. You don't see very often high velocity fastballs that skip in front of the plate, which tells me he doesn't have a feel for his command by any means. Normally high fastballs are going to be up in the zone, and that is a good 3.5, 4 feet away from the glove right there. You want to talk about hitting a fastball. This man at the plate right here has a home run on the fastest fastball in the game of Aroldis Chapman, 102+ miles per hour to left center Yankee Stadium.
Playing against the Angels for the first time with Hanley Ramirez at second. Attacking, but coming up empty there. 98 on the radar gun. Two down, a man in scoring position.
And again, that hard split right there, and hasn't thrown too many of them for strikes yet. He did drop that 0-0 slider on Hanley, which is a get me over. And those are the ones you want to hit, but he has thrown that get me over and hasn't been able to throw that good sharp one for a strike. JD's one he did chase, it was a ball. So if he's going to have success with his off speed, he's got to stay in the zone with it.
Pop up off third, down the line moves Cozart. Still on the back pedal to put it away, but the Red Sox draw first blood here tonight. And David Price is on top 1-0 as he takes to the mound for the first time. Then Mike Trout in center, Justin Upton in left. Albert Pujols the designated hitter. Zach Cozart brand new at third base. Cole Calhoun in right. Andrelton Simmons a great shortstop defensively. Jeffrey Marte at first base, and Martin Maldonado does the catching against the Red Sox starter presented by New England Audi dealers. That's David Price. He's 1-1, a .240 earned run average coming here to Anaheim. And he deals ball one to get underway.
Going head-to-head with Betts is Kinsler, and this guy's got a lot of leadoff homers in his career, and he's always looking to ambush and change the score right out of the gate.
He's off to a good start, hitting .385 with 1 home run. Really crowds that plate. Not a lot of success against David Price. A lot of hitters can say the same thing. He is 5 for 26. That's all 192 against the lefty. Angels managed by Mike Scioscia. He's been their manager since 2000. Knocked down in the backhand. Price will collect it though, and he'll get him for a fast out.
Playing behind David Price will be the Red Sox defense. Devers, of course, at third. Shortstop, Brock Holt. Nunez holding down second. Hanley Ramirez got his first base glove tonight. Benintendi, of course, in left. Jackie Bradley sharing center field with Mike Trout. And Betts, who got us going with 1-0 on the board. Vasquez behind the plate, and we're going to see if David the Price is right tonight.
Here's Mike Trout. Many call him the best player on the planet. A modern day Mickey Mantle. Hitting .266, but already with 6 home runs.
Yeah, he's on fire already, and that is a perfect pitch right there to Mike Trout. Back in the day, we talk about a low ball hitter. Well, now low ball is transferred to this high launch angle. So if you stay up on Trout with all pitches, you're going to be in good shape. Down can be dangerous to this guy. This is a high launch angle ball club. You obviously see Kinsler can scoop it. Justin Upton can scoop it. Pujols has been scooping it for over 600 homers. Simmons will be able to get you up there, but you can stay down to him. But majority, if you stay up in the zone against the Anaheim Angels, you should have success.
Two-time MVP at the plate. He'll take one inside. Now, in the past, he has really scuffled against Price. 3 for 21 with 10 punch-outs.
Yeah, that's not Trout-esque.
3-0. He's taking all the way and across for a strike. Upton on deck. Angels coming in 13-3. Second best record in the American League behind the Red Sox, and they've won 7 in a row. They just went 6-0 on a road trip.
So the best location for these guys, if you see Vasquez behind the plate, right at his mask, that's where you want to be against these guys.
Ball 4. So Trout will reach. He'll become the first base runner against the lefty tonight. Upton next.
Go along with this heavyweight bout that we're witnessing tonight are probably the 2 best arms behind home plate in the American League. That's Vasquez and Maldonado over there, and they're 2 very active catchers with absolute bazookas. So we'll see what happens in the run game today. The Angels coming in 8 for 8 in stolen bases. That would be 100%.
Well, Upton 297, 4 home runs. And that'll miss inside for a ball at 88.
Good usage of the cutter so far, so that he hasn't showcased that 4-seamer yet. So we'll stay with that and see if he's the cutter's going to be running inside. If he can backdoor that cutter, which would be outside to a righty, man, that's lights out for David Price.
Sox in front 1-0 on the Mookie Betts home run. We welcome those of you who've been watching the Celtics win. So congratulations to the Celtics. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Baseball on the West Coast. Red Sox beginning a 9-game road trip. And beginning it against the Angels and Shohei Ohtani.
So that last pitch, that location, you see that it's right down the middle, but you see it's a smidge elevated, and that's where he has to be all night.
And he drops it in, a changeup.
That's what I was talking about what Ohtani hasn't done yet. Granted, just one inning, but be able to show that off speed for a strike, not an 0-0 count, which would be called just a get me over. So David Price having to feel for that changeup.
Trout a short lead over at first. And that is inside. Of course, Price left his last start on Wednesday against the Yankees after one inning because of numbness in his pitching hand. He had allowed 4 runs in the game. Yankees would go on to win 10-7. And that was the Red Sox only loss since opening day. Pujols on deck. Price with a 2-2. And Upton comes up empty with a cut and a miss for strike 3, so the first strikeout for Price.
That's what I was talking about right there too, that cutter. If he can get that cutter on his arm side, that's lights out right there. That's starting off the plate on the white where it's going to be a ball and coming back just enough for a strike.
Amica Insurance, great service, great coverage, and a great price for auto, home, and life insurance. Albert Pujols, a .282 hitter with 3 home runs at the moment. 617 in his career. He is also 12 hits, Johnny, away from 3,000. And so it's not beyond the realm of possibility he's going to be a 700 homer, 3,000 hit man.
Yeah, so obviously there hasn't been that 100% Hall of Famer yet. But with those numbers in this era that we're playing and the people around him, I'm not sure if he's going to be the first or not, but.
Hard hit ground ball. Devers with the scoop. A little bit of a delay there, but got the throw in plenty of time at second base to retire the side. The joint replacement experts at Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center. Visit bidmc.org. Red Sox in the lead here in Southern California. 1-0 on the Angels. Johnny Gomes, Dave O'Brien, and Garen Austin with you. Game 1 of a 3-game series here. Mookie Betts has already homered against Shohei Ohtani on a 3-2 pitch to start the ball game. And bending back out of the way, Nunez. Eduardo back in the lineup at second tonight.
And that's just straight panic mode right there. When you know a man on the mound can throw 100 miles an hour and you got a ball coming right at your face. Obviously that face guard right there, and a lot of people are starting to wear that.
You think about it now, the C-flap, which has become all the rage in baseball, and you don't have to have been hit by a pitch to wear it. Guys are wearing it routinely without ever having been hit on the helmet.
Yeah, it's interesting these days. You're obviously seeing more of the foot pad. Pretty much everyone in the game wears the elbow pad, and then now the face guard. It's obviously helpful to have that padding, but it's turning into more of a fashion statement.
High fly, pretty well hit. Trout on the go there. He'll run it down in the alley to retire Nunez for the first out. So 1 man gone. And that will send up Jackie Bradley.
So obviously these guys are going to want to take their hacks, and that's what I mentioned early on in the show, is hope these guys jump them, don't get that chance to look at strike 1 and put you in the hole. But the way he's throwing his off speed, and he hasn't commanded all his pitches by any means, we'll see if they take notice of that and start to lay off and make them earn it.
Jackie going after the first one, tops a foul. We're talking about that C-flap. On this date in 1964, the Phillies' Tony Gonzalez became the first major leaguer to wear a batting helmet with a pre-molded ear flap. Now, he had been in the top 10 in getting hit by pitches every year since his rookie year, and decided he'd had enough of that. Talk about setting a trend.
Yeah, and that's the ear flap, and the reason that they even started to wear the helmets was our good friend and past Don Zimmer.
And a line drive toward the alley, down for a base hit. Calhoun will scoop it, and Jackie is on with a base hit. Let's go to Guerin.
Obi, I talked to Hanley Ramirez about the C-flap, and he said basically safety, and he wanted to do it as a precaution. He said it was a little bit awkward that first at-bat because it felt kind of uncomfortable and it was weird. But he said after that you get used to it, and he's really glad that he's decided to wear it.
Boy, is everybody, too.
It's also became an organizational way for some organizations to make sure all their players from AAA all the way down to the lowest of the farm leagues that they have to wear it.
Christian Vasquez, 214 without a home run. Bradley with the third Red Sox hit against the right-hander, and that's ball one.
He could be slowly getting into it. You remember the skull cap that they wore, and then the ear flap, and it's starting to come. I wonder if Major League Baseball is going to make everyone wear this.
Boy, I wonder if MLB has to have any kind of an edict, because so many players have gone to it. Not waiting to get beaned. Line foul out of play.
I'm all for the insurance and the more padding if you need it, but I played this game a long time, and I never got hit in the face. I've had some come up and in, but I don't know if I'm light on my feet or not, but you get hit in the face, that's a tough one.
Of course, it happened to Tony Canigliaro 54 years ago today. He hit the first pitch he saw at Fenway Park in his debut for a home run. Brock Holt on deck. Red Sox in the lead 1-0.
Vasquez always does a good job with two strikes. Obviously throwing a slider that's going to run on the outer half and a high velocity fastball. If you can train yourself and just stay inside and shoot the ball to right, something that he does a really good job of. Let's see if he can shoot the ball to right field in the gap right here and watch Jackie run.
Ohtani just 23 years old. He's 6'4". 84 with the slider, but that will miss, and the count goes to 2-2.
And that was a tight slider. You obviously want more depth. Anytime your slider is up in the zone, that's not working out well for the pitcher. He's got to get that down. The biggest thing he's got going right there is the velocity differential. He's throwing 96, 97, 98. That's going to come in at 88. So you're pushing a 12-mile-an-hour velocity differential. But a tight slider like that, not good.
The Red Sox are making him throw pitches, aren't they? He's already thrown 38 with one out in the second inning.
Yeah, as it stands right now, I'm sure majority of these people are here to see him, but he could be out of the game just on the simple fact of the pitch count.
His two starts so far, he threw 91 and 92 pitches. And each of those was against the Oakland Athletics. Red Sox are a different animal that he has seen. And that'll miss for ball three.
That one did have a little more depth right there, but what it got him is back to a 3-2 count. This is his third or fourth 3-2 count that he's had. Obviously, he's about to throw his 40th pitch right here. So that one's down, which is a little bit of an improvement, but good 6 inches off the plate. Not what you're looking for, 2-2. We'll see if Jackie's moving right here to stay out of the double play.
Vasquez so good at taking advantage of that hole on the right side. And that's exactly what Ohtani had in mind, too. 3-2, 1 down, 1-0 Boston. Jackie, 2 stolen bases in 2 attempts. He has a sky-high career success rate.
Sure does.
Very rarely gets caught.
Not the fastest runner, but that's not what it takes sometimes. Sometimes it's the good jump and being smart.
Takes off, and that one foul off first.
That's right where he needs to be going, right there to right field, staying on top of the ball. So obviously over here, we're talking pitch count with him sitting at 40, getting ready for his 41st second inning, only 1 out. Japan, no pitch count, period. They don't believe in it, nothing. It's not even on the board. You actually got to do some research to figure out where they're at on the pitch count. So this is, again, with a lot on his plate, the pitch count's pretty foreign for him.
Well, in Japan, they'll typically throw 150 pitch bullpens. 3-2 runner goes again, and that's high for ball 4. So he's not overly sharp here early on. The Red Sox are really making him work. First and second for Brock Holt. And tomorrow at 9, don't miss Red Sox first pitch, presented by Joseph Abboud, available at Men's Warehouse. TC and Steve will break it all down. The battle between the Red Sox and the Angels, and now a mound visit. Charles Nagy is the pitching coach, and along with an interpreter. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with him physically, but days after he signed with the Angels, reports came out that he has a damaged ulnar collateral ligament, and he had received platelet plasma injections in that elbow. The Angels then re-examined the elbow, and they determined they were, quote, very comfortable with the results.
I'm not a doctor by any means, but I tell you what, if you're throwing 99 miles per hour before you're done growing, I can't imagine that's too good on the ligaments in there. So going back to the pitch count for the team that I played in, Rakuten in Sendai, their ace right now is Norimoto. And opening day, he threw 161 pitches.
Wow. Louis Tiant-like in there for a strike on Holt.
Yeah, this isn't like the Bob Feller stories of what they used to do. This was about 2 weeks ago, and then he backs it with 6 days later, his second start, and throws 132.
Brock 167, no home runs, but looking to pick up an RBI right here. And again, Alex Cora decided to go with him at shortstop tonight. We thought probably Zhu Wei Lin because of the way that Zhu Wei is swinging the bat. 6 for 11 in the Baltimore series. But Alex likes the idea of Brock Holt facing a guy throwing this hard, that he can handle the bat really well and make solid contact. Got to get something to swing at, though, to count 2-1.
Yeah, the way he's throwing his off speed right now, it's almost important to not have a bat in your hands. He's kind of just digging himself in a hole, and obviously Mookie might have got his boots shaking right there, changing the score just the 6th pitch into the game. And he obviously hasn't thrown back-to-back strikes, hasn't thrown his off speed well. Slider's a little flat, so he's got his work cut out for him.
Bradley at second, Vasquez at first. Red Sox looking for more right away against Ohtani. Here comes pitch number 45. Little blooper toward left, and that's going to settle down for a base hit. Here comes the run. Jackie powering home, got a great read on that. He scores another Red Sox run to make it 2-0.
Alex Cora's nailed it again right there. Sometimes it's not how far, it's when. Runner on second, 2 outs, double play is going to be an inning killer, especially with that pitch count. Right there, firing inside that fastball right there, high velocity, just over to third base, gets him an RBI, a knock, and continues to keep this inning rolling.
Vasquez down to second, RBI single for Brock Holt. One man out, and here comes that man again. Mookie Betts, home run in the first inning on a 3-2 pitch, deep to left and gone for his 3rd of the year.
And I'll tell you, I bet the whole league is paying attention to this at bat right here to see how he's going to attack Mookie right there. Hit the fastball out, 3-2 count, and again attacks him right here with a 0-0 off-speed pitch, and that is an elevated hanging slider right there. But Mookie hasn't seen it yet, taking a peek at it. So we'll see if he goes back to the heater, which Mookie's already hit out of the yard, or if he's going to have to stay stopped. And watch for that split in the dirt, and these guys be able to advance.
98, he dotted the edge of the plate to make it 0-2. Benintendi on deck. High chop foul, back to the home run swing in the first inning.
And This is it right here. Watch him get his foot down, get on timing. Those hands go down, get in a fire position, and that's down too, right there, down at his shins, and able to go down and scoop it. Just the idea that I'm having David Price stay away from, and the high elevated heater to stay away from that launch like Mookie has right there.
Our high strength steel play brought to you by New England Chevy dealers.
So an approach you want to have too is he hasn't earned respect on that split yet. So out of his hand, the first tenth of a second, when you can see the velocity change, or you can see his grip or anything different, you almost want to give up on it because he hasn't been able to throw it for a strike.
Check swing. Foul tip is what Maldonado is saying, but no, says Vic Carapazza. Maldonado thought there was a tip there. And still arguing with the umpire. Count 2-2.
This is going to be a tough one to see, but I tell you what, they both are in the same place, so I can't imagine that's not a tip right there. His bat wasn't even out yet. So I think he's just trying to help Ohtani out any way he can, and if he can get him out on that way, that's a good way to dodge a power threat like Mookie.
Looked like Mookie said, nah.
No, stop begging, stop begging.
2 on, 1 out. Got a piece to hang in there.
Another thing to make note of too is obviously this big transition of the mound visits. For them to have to use one up in the first, obviously you can't use one in this inning, you'd have to take them out, but to use one of those 6 mound visits you have in the second inning, it's a tough one.
I like the rule so far. That's high and tight. It's working pretty well.
Here he is back at the 3-2 count, just like he led the game off. Obviously, you saw that low heater that he hit out and started him off with a heater. So he's been going a little different. We're going to have runners in motion right here, possibly to stay at a 2. So we'll see what he goes to. This is an educational pitch for the whole offense of the Red Sox.
Count was 0-2. Mookie has battled back to fill it up. Breaking ball, and he fouls that one back with a massive swing. That was a slider.
And you're going to get massive swings on elevated sliders like he's been doing all game. So let's see if he backs it. Stayed away from back-to-back off speed.
With 1 man out in the second inning. And he's already thrown 53 pitches.
It's a good swing right there with that swing. He might have scared him off the slider, but he already scared him off the fastball. So he's running low on options.
And he walks him. And that's going to load up the bases for Benintendi.
This is probably going to deserve a bullpen call right here. Yeah, they're going to have to get someone going.
On the horn. Don't miss a game, especially when the Red Sox are on the West Coast. Import the NESN Red Sox schedule on any device for alerts 15 minutes before each game. Visit NESN.com/schedule to import that schedule, presented by Franklin Sports, the official batting glove of the Boston Red Sox. So they are all filled up. This will be another mound visit. Second one in the inning, but not by the pitching coach or the manager. But they are going to get somebody warming up in that bullpen. What a difference for Ohtani compared to his first 2 starts. But those were against the Oakland A's. The Red Sox come in 13-2 with one of the best offenses in baseball.
And I'll tell you one other thing. Obviously, with the Red Sox and the fan base that they're having, you can book that Japan is on pause right now to watch this outing from Shohei. And they're the biggest rock stars we have here. The baseball players are there. And like I said, that whole place is on hold right now watching this outing. So as a young guy like this, man, he's got a lot on his shoulders.
All loaded up for Andrew Benintendi. He will lay off ball 1. He grounded to second first time up. But they are loaded. Now the Baltimore series, he went 5 for 13 with a couple of doubles. He had a triple and he drove in 4 runs. He really started to swing it. One and one. Vasquez on at third. Holt at second. And Mookie Betts at first. And the Sox have a chance here to put a big hurt on the Angels right away.
tell you what, maybe a little bumpy start right here, obviously with the pitch count, but what he has showcased, I mean, he's almost sitting at 99 miles per hour. If he's to tighten up that slider and get that split over for a strike, you might see some trophies on his case pretty soon.
1-1 and a good take there by Benintendi. Went his way. 2-1. Talking to Benintendi about his slide at home plate the other day against the Orioles. He definitely felt he scored on that play. He was ruled out by the home plate umpire, and on review they upheld it. He felt like he had the fingers in. The tag was high up on the arm. Check swing. Did he offer? No. And the count goes to 3-1.
This pitch right here, I mean, you really can't afford to walk a guy in on an off-speed pitch. Obviously, with the fastball being his best pitch, you can stomach it. So you really can't afford that. So Benintendi's probably sitting dead red fastball.
3-1 on the way. Line shot into left. Upton will make the catch. Tagging up Vasquez. He will score as the throw comes in late, and the Red Sox lead it 3-0. Benintendi with his 10th RBI of the season. And the Red Sox keep on scoring against the star from Japan. Hanley Ramirez will be next.
Let's see how he attacks Hanley. I'd imagine if Hanley gets a knock right here or a walk, this will be his last batter. Ohtani probably does know that, so he's probably going to want to settle down and stay within the zone. And on the flip side, Hanley probably knows that and thinking he has to attack me right here. So let's see if he gets this green light early and puts a good swing on a fastball.
Hanley looped a single to the outfield first time up, so he's 1 for 1. Rockhold holding at second on a line drive out. Betts at first. 2 away for the Sox.
Again, the game within the game, as Hanley Ramirez is the only guy he was able to get that off-speed 0-0 over for a strike.
Hanley taking on the Angels here today, brought to you by AARP. He enters the game with an 8-game hitting streak against them. 290 with a couple of home runs. Big crowd here tonight to see the Angels and Ohtani, but the Red Sox have really quieted them very fast. 2 on and 2 gone. Strike with a breaking ball. Now Hanley going down on a knee there, and now back up.
I think this is sitting dead red fastball. Fastball, gotta go, gotta go. Slider, oh no! We like to call that emergency swing.
Sox with 2 runs in this inning and a home run in the first inning by Mookie Betts. And the 1-1 from Ohtani. Off the outside at 99. The crowd kind of begging there, but and Socha too.
They're really trying to help the kid out. Obviously with the foul ball, trying to get strike 3, that didn't work out. And they're trying to get the umpire's ear. I don't think that's going to work out. He's been struggling.
Well, that wasn't that close.
That was not that close.
Pitch number 63, and it's knocked foul. Well, the velocity on the fastball has been impressive. Frankly, nothing else has been. And we knew coming in that he could throw hard. He, sat at 98 to 100 miles an hour. But he's also walked 2 men. He's gone to a lot of deep counts. Red Sox would like some more here before the end of the inning.
Hanley found that ball off the first base side up into the crowd. That's going to tell you he's late right here. But Hanley's done a great job with 2 strikes. If he's running a scoring position, he's shooting the ball right back up the middle. You would think he would stay with that fastball because Hanley was late with that. And if he does help Hanley out by throwing off speed, he could shoot that ball right up the middle for a knock.
JD Martinez waiting on deck. Holt and Betts leading away at second and first, and the 2-2. Breaking ball and a big swing again by Hanley.
And Ohtani's side too, very important pitch right here. Runner on first and second, 2 outs, 2-2 count. If he's to miss right here to go to 3-2, that's going to put the runners in motion. So a double is definitely going to score 2, and you're going to be able to go first to third, no brainer on a knock.
Well, whether he gets out of this inning or not, this is going to be a short night for Shohei Ohtani. At least 65 pitches in 2 innings. It's going to be more than that. Another good take there by Hanley. The Red Sox are not helping him out.
No, they're not. This is an outstanding plan that was prepared before the game in their hitters meeting of what to attack, when to attack. Obviously, with him being out of the zone, obviously it could have gone the other way, that the Red Sox were swinging at a lot of balls and helping Shohei out. So here we go with the runners in motion right here.
On the move on the 3-2 with 2 down. And a high chop towards short. Simmons will go on to first base. 2 are tied aside, but the Red Sox add to the lead, now on top 3-0. Game. His pitching line brought to you by Lexus, inviting you to see, hear, feel, and experience amazing. But he is now gone, and what was up with him tonight?
Well, I don't know if it was the feel. I mean, that pitch right there is something to be written home about. That was not well at all. Obviously, off speed way up and in, which is rare. Off speed up and in. Those sliders have to be down and out. Slider up and in. You see him looking back, not having a feel for it. Obviously not the weather, where it being cold. He's at home, nice climate, just didn't have it. And only 2 walks right there really doesn't tell the story of him not commanding his pitches.
Well, here's Luke Bard. This is Daniel Bard's brother. And he's in the ball game in the 3rd inning with the Red Sox in front 3-zip. So far appearing in 5 games, and he's thrown the ball very well.
So if you were in some crazy Southern California traffic, which is all the time, and you get home thinking you're just going to miss a couple innings, and you turn on the TV and Ohtani's not pitching.
Base hit up the middle by Martinez. Yeah, probably the first thing you'd think of if you've been following the Angels is, oh, maybe he's hurt.
Yep. But I tell you what this is huge for is early on in the season, one of the things you want to do is wear down that starter any way possible, for the simple fact of being able to see the bullpen in game 1. Obviously, they're going to have to empty their bullpen, which is a great look for game 2 and game 3 to have multiple at-bats off the bullpen arms.
Devers 0 for 1. He's popped out foul to third. Sox have 5 hits now. You know, the Red Sox, as you know, Johnny, have been in attack mode early in counts. It has not been their pattern or their hitting philosophy under Alex Cora and Tim Hires to lay back and take pitches and wear a starter down. It's just a better lineup than the Oakland A's. The Red Sox don't chase pitches that they don't have to chase, and probably the A's do a lot of that.
Yeah, when you're talking about a plan right there of attacking strikes and laying off balls, as simple as it sounds, obviously with the stuff that you see Ohtani coming from anywhere from 83 to 100 miles an hour can be tough. But when you're talking about the old money ball era of on base, sure, that's cool. But I'd rather take 3-run home runs with multiple hits in an inning.
1 and 2 on Rafael Devers, with Nunez the next hitter up. Red Sox with a man on.
At the end of the day, whoever scores the most runs is going to win the ball game. And the easiest way to change the score is to swing the bat, like you saw Mookie Betts do to start the game off. So if you get a strike, just go ahead and get that foot down and get that bat singing.
Well, Mookie really setting the table for the rest of the Red Sox lineup, because he worked a very long at bat, and that was on a 3-2 pitch. In fact, he worked a full count pitch his next time up and took ball 4. 1-2 to Devers. And down he goes hacking. So 1 man gone. Time for a game break now, brought to you by Jordan's, the furniture store of the Boston Red Sox. And here's Tom Caron. Tom, thank you very much. And, you know, as we tried to not explain, but sort of lend an opinion on early in the season when the Red Sox were playing, you know, Miami and Tampa Bay, anyone could beat anybody. That one's deflected toward the second baseman, throwing to second, and that's in time to get the out on Martinez. That's a 1-4-6 fielder's choice, slowed down by Bard initially. And Kinsler with a sliding play.
Yeah, and that's just it from when the schedule comes out many years ago, and it's going to take 162 games to determine a winner, and you'll obviously see that race coming down to the end late September of 1 or 2 games. Anyone can win at any given night.
So Jackie Bradley, a base hit and a run in the second inning. 2 down, Sox ahead 3-0, and Ohtani has been knocked out of the game. Jackie looking for an extended hot streak. He looks at a strike at 92. Sox just went 8-1 on the homestand.
And sometimes when you see the starter come out so early as this, there's obviously the hitters meeting. They were watching video on the plane. They had their iPads, all their money into Ohtani, and yet he only goes 2 innings. So sometimes there's a little bit of a gray area with who comes out of the bullpen to adjust to him. Switch your whole game plan, switch your approach, go back to neutral, and kind of feel things out again. So this is a whole new ball game that now is just going to be 7 innings versus 9.
Angels bullpen has been very good in these early games, but it'll be put to the test here tonight.
Yeah. And by no means, I mean, granted they knocked the starter out in only the second inning, but you're going to take more than 3 runs to win an American League ball game majority of the time. Granted, David Price is looking right on point right now, but you do want to add on.
Sox went 2-4 against the Angels last year, en route to winning 93 and the division for the second year in a row. But this Red Sox team getting out to 13-2. Off to a very nice start here tonight. Here's the 2-1. High, deep drive, right field. He jumped all over that baby. Watch it sail. Gone! JBJ crushing one here in Anaheim. And the Red Sox continue to beat up on the Angels. That'll make it 5-0.
And that's it. I asked for some more runs. Maybe JBJ heard me down there, and he just jumps. Elevated heater right here coming. That's a slider right there, elevated. I was talking about Ohtani needing to get that slider down right there. So that's an elevated hanging slider right there that goes way back. That's a big boy land right there that JBJ just went to.
Yep. He knew it immediately, didn't he? Second, he made contact. Here's Vasquez, who walked and scored in the second. So Jackie with his first home run of the season, and he pummeled it.
Yeah, I was mentioning that the ball is flying out of here to that right center gap. I think the Angels have, I want to say, 13 home runs here at home, and 12 of them have gone from center field to right. So that's notable right there.
That one hit him, got him on the jersey. Vasquez had to confirm that with Carapaz, who did not immediately send him to first, but Christian will now take his base.
He's trying to sink it back right there, and that big jersey just got it just enough. That's a hit by pitch.
So the Sox with a pair of home runs. Here's Brock Holt. He has an RBI single tonight. Nothing Boston, and a strike.
Big hit for Brock right there. Not only does he get a knock out of Ohtani, high velocity fastball, shooting it right over to left field for an RBI knock. Start your day off with an RBI knock, you start to feel froggy a little bit the rest of the way.
To me, that means something else. When I get up in the morning, I feel froggy.
That's it. Cough it out. So you talk about froggy. JBJ jumped on that slider. That's way up there.
Did he ever?
That's a good 12, 15 rows back. It's probably easier to hit when you don't have a ski mask on, too. He's got.
I would bet, yeah.
Good.
About time the Sox got a chance to get rid of those things. I was talking to Mitch Moreland about how cold it was, and was that the coldest he had ever played in? And Mitch had played in the minor leagues, like in Iowa, in snow and that kind of stuff. He said there's no question it was the coldest. And he's one of those guys that doesn't like to wear, you know, that stocking and, you know, anything around the neck or the ears to try and stay warm.
Yeah, when you're talking to a man that wears cowboy boots to the ballpark,
right,
and he says it's cold, it is real cold.
It was ridiculous. 1-2 inside. All even up on Brock Holt with Mookie Betts on deck. Mookie about to get his third rips tonight. And it's early. It's the third inning. I think you got to be impressed. I mean, with so many things with this Red Sox team, that's obvious. But with how they powered through that weather and went 8-1 when every day of the homestand was miserable.
Yeah, that is extremely impressive. I mean, there's so many excuses on the board right there when you're not playing well. Weather, this and that. Man, they powered right through it, and they got some thick skin out of those W's.
And to me, you know, you're going to make some errors, right? And that kind of freezing hands and feet. Red Sox played almost errorless baseball the entire homestand.
They're putting a lot of things together. The defense is good. The bullpen, starting rotation. It's all coming.
3-2 with a runner going. There's a shot. That one hooked down the line, and it is gone. Brock Holt with his first of the year. Give him a 2-run homer, and the Red Sox lead at 7-zip.
Brock Holt touching home plate right here. The Swiss Army knife Brock Holt going into his little stash right there and pulling out his home run blade. He's going to go right to Jackie Bradley and said, yours might have went further, but mine counts the same.
2-run homer for Brock, his first of the season. Down the line.
It's down the line right there in a 3-2 count. Runners going. Knowing he's going to want to come to the heater right there inside. The ball is flying to right field like I mentioned earlier. Brock Holt took it.
Already 3 RBIs for Brock tonight. The Red Sox have hit 3 home runs. And they have jumped on the Angels 7-0. And I have rarely heard a quieter 43,000. There's a shot. High and deep to left by Betts. Mookie has done it again. His second shot of the ball game. Scioscia is stunned, and the Red Sox lead it 8-0. And now you're hearing the Sox fans here chanting for Mookie Betts.
Mookie Betts, Sox Nation on the West Coast giving him some love. I love it. And I tell you what, there's a lot of debates going on right now. Mookie Betts getting compared to Mike Trout. And we do have a heavyweight bout with those two guys going at it right here. Mookie getting up for his third at bat. We're ready in the third. 2 of them out of the ballpark.
Back to back. His first game back after having to leave a ball game because of a foot contusion on a home plate collision. And what does he do? He smacks 2 home runs. Oh, a hanger there.
That's where you call the head down with the bat flip. Contact, swing, on time, boom. That is a beautiful swing for that man right there.
8-0 Boston. Benintendi tried to go up the middle, snatched by Bard, and a lob on to get him. But the Red Sox go back-to-back for the first time this year. Hit 3 home runs in the inning. Better service and great selection. Get your tickets now to an upcoming game. Chat live with a specialist at aceticket.com. Wow. Red Sox 8, Angels nothing. And the Sox have hit 4 home runs in the game already. Johnny, you said the ball was going to carry tonight. It's carrying for the Red Sox in a big way.
It sure is. Those boys are on point, and they're just waffling and attacking the early strikes that they're seeing, just like we were talking earlier, and something that Alex Cora wanted to bring up. And you're talking proof in the pudding right there.
Mookie Betts with 2 home runs so far. So Price with all sorts of run support as he gets back on the bump tonight. Maldonado, the leadoff man in the inning.
That man right there, Brock Holt. Not too many questions, obviously, with how the offense is playing, but who to start at short tonight. And Alex Cora, there it is again. Boom, the right button.
You know, Alex was talking about he's going to shift between Brock Holt and Zhu-Wei Lin. He's not going to have a regular #1 shortstop until Xander Bogaerts gets back, so they're both going to play. But he also likes the idea of Brock Holt getting reps. He believes that that's going to get his swing going. You know, playing consistently, regardless of where he plays, be it shortstop, second base, third base, with all the positions he can play. And boy, is that proving to be true tonight.
Well, and Alex Cora can obviously speak on that's basically his career as a player, and he knows what would have kept him sharp as a player, what might have worked in different situations when he was playing. So Brock Holt is basically an Alex Cora clone, and he knows exactly how to handle him. And obviously with Brock's start right now, short, you'll see him at second. You know, with Pedroia down right now, we can go over to third. If you need a left-handed bat, we can put him in the outfield. And Alex Cora is going to take great care of this guy. And I tell you what, when you got him playing well, can flip that lineup over, good shape.
3-2, and he walked him. So Maldonado is on us. 3 walks by Price tonight. He does not look overly thrilled with that as we go down to Guerin.
Opie Johnny, Alex Cora said today was a great day for Xander Bogaerts. He ran a little, he took BP, and he took ground balls. Now, Bogaerts was given a 10 to 14 day window, but Cora joked and said, no, he's in my window. Cora said that Bogaerts will return to the lineup when they feel it's best for the team, when they know he's healthy and they feel that he can perform at the level that they need him to perform at. But guys, he said he's making great progress.
You know what? The Red Sox do not have to rush him back. Not the way they're playing.
They do not have to rush him back. And again, there is so much on the line tonight with Ohtani, but there's a lot of things going on right with the Sox.
Kinsler with a high pop-up. Brock Holt in shallow center. 1 down.
And they're in such a great situation to not have to rush Bogaerts back. But there's another name that hasn't even been on the field yet, and that is Dustin Pedroia. They're able to do this without Dustin Pedroia, which is absolutely remarkable. You look at some of these other ball clubs, like the Dodgers, who now we're leaning on Turner's injury. We're going to Washington. We're leaning on Murphy's injury. And then these guys were able to rally around and pick up the offense without Pedroia that can hit anywhere 1 through 5 and do it well.
Now Dustin expected to be back in May. The Red Sox sending him to Fort Myers to begin that process of getting back. So far everything's gone very, very well, and he's rehab. Here's Trout now. He walked in the first inning.
And with Dustin Pedroia and his resume, what he can do to this ball club is just going to send it north. Obviously his glove at second base, his leadership roles.
Hammered foul. One of the reasons that the Angels have gotten off to such a good start is the offense has been outstanding. Although Price has tied them up so far tonight, they've added some thump to Mike Trout and of course Pujols.
Well, speaking of Pujols, that ball off Trout's bat went into the dugout and just hit Albert in the knee. Could be scary. And again, you do want to stay elevated on Mike Trout here. There it is. Good pitch.
Well, they brought in Upton and Kinsler and Cozart. Thus far, it's been a stout offense. And tonight, they don't have a hit yet. The Red Sox are leading 8-0. 2-2 on Trout.
Man, this guy's good. This guy is good. He's kind of hiding out in the West Coast, and He's been doing it a little bit longer than Mookie, but I tell you what, Mookie's starting to give this man a run for his money, and that's saying a lot when you're talking about the best player on the planet. And when you got a guy wearing a Red Sox uniform making a push.
Our key matchup presented by Sullivan Tire and Auto Service. We're always here to get you there. Mike Trout's career against David Price, and Price has been on top in this battle in a big way. A lot of strikeouts there as well, 10 of them. And at first, and one down. And he got him again. Foul tip to the mid.
Foul tip and great elevation right there, a smidge above the belt. You get it below the belt, this is it again. That cutter right there, mask high. Ooh, looking at his hand right there, not a good look.
Second strikeout for the lefty. First man that he struck out is coming up now, and that's Justin Upton. He whiffed in the first inning.
We're talking about the offensive plan that has obviously really stuck out with 8 runs, 8 hits through 3. Price's plan of keeping that ball elevated.
Liner on the move, Benintendi, that'll drop down for a base hit. Around second into third is Maldonado. He'll pull up right there. It'll be a long single for Upton, and they're on the corners. That is their first hit this evening. Comes with 2 down.
Again, getting right into attack mode right there, swinging 0-0, the cutter. Again, anytime you can keep these guys in the ballpark, these are some power hitters. We're talking Justin Upton, 30 every year, Mike Trout, Pujols. You can take these knocks right here, especially with an 8-run backer. But right here, obviously, you do want to continue to have that donut. But there's one guy in our game right now that has an eye for the RBI. It's this guy, so this will be a tough out.
Pujols 0 for 1 in this one. 12 hits away from 3,000 career hits.
Nunez kind of shading up the middle, and one thing Albert loves to do is beat the shift. So we'll see if he kind of shoves it over to the second base hole over there with Hanley having to hold the runner on first. That big hole right there. Obviously, he's loves to beat that shift. And this foul ball right here, look who's sitting right there, and then boom, inner knee. Tough right there. Anytime you get beamed by a ball and you're not in the batter's box, that's a tough one.
Future Hall of Famer tried to get free of it. Here's the 1-0. And he pulls a base hit to left field. That'll drive in a run. Maldonado in to score. So Albert now 11 hits away from 3,000. And 10 runs batted in.
Man, this guy's got an eye for the RBI. It's unbelievable. We just witnessed Joe Mauer celebrated in Minnesota getting his 3,000th hit. This guy's about, or his 2,000th hit. Now Albert's getting ready to get 3,000, and he's pushing 2,000 RBIs.
So on that bad wheel, thanks to his teammate, he still drills the single. He has had a spectacular career. .617 home runs. He is signed through 2021, at which time he'll be 42 years old.
This is Zach Cozart here. To our fellow Nesson listeners that follow us every single night, you'll remember the story about the donkey that we told last year in Cincinnati. The donkey named Donald that Joey Votto gave him for making the All-Star team.
That's right. That's what he wanted. And that's what he got.
Yep. Joey Votto will do that to you, I guess.
A couple of men on and a run in. 8-1 now. Cozart's 0 for 1 with a grounder to short. Former Cincinnati Reds All-Star, but that was as a shortstop. This year he's been moved to third base. That's a position he had never played professionally until this season. A strike.
Can't imagine there's too much land out here that's price worthy to raise a donkey. I'm sure it's got a different home right now. Maybe stayed back in Cincinnati. expensive real estate to have a donkey.
Got to board that baby. The 1-1 across for a called strike at 93. Now they're talking about the reason that Ohtani came out of the ball game wasn't necessarily the score or the high pitch count. They're saying he had a blister on his pitching hand.
Yeah, maybe if we have some time to go over that. I mean, this is definitely a big difference in the ball that he's accustomed to throwing in Japan.
1-2, and he struck him out. Price was already leaving him out. He knew it. 1 run in, 8-1 Boston. On to the 4th inning. Red Sox leading here 8-1 over the Angels. About hit them 8-2, and half of the Red Sox hits are home runs. And Mookie Betts has half of those with a pair of them tonight. And Ramirez is 1 for 2 with a base hit. It'll be Martinez and Devers after him against Luke Bard, who took over for Shohei Ohtani. Lifted after 2 innings. They're saying because of a blister. This one has popped a mile in the air but out of play. Huge crowd here on a Tuesday night. And no question who they were coming to see, but Ohtani came out. Now, one of the things that Johnny was talking about before the game was the difference in the baseballs between Japanese baseball and the major leagues here in the United States.
And it's one thing that I don't know if has had enough coverage, but for me, from going over there, it is a big difference. The size of the ball, the seams, and most importantly, the tackiness of the mud we use versus the mud that they use over here. Brought this guy back.
All the way from Japan.
All the way from Japan. This is a official Japanese style ball right here that they use. And this is ours over here on the left. Obviously you can't see the difference, but it's pretty easy to tell the difference, and I'll let you feel them, and you'll be able, without even looking at the labels, and you can tell.
It is amazing how much tackier the Japanese baseball is than the Major League Baseball, which is far slicker. That's number 1. Yep.
Yeah. And then obviously with the size, what I did here is to show our viewers is I brought this little tape measure right here, and to wrap it around, you can actually see the difference in the circumference of the Japanese ball versus.
Line shot. Upton backing up, but he's got it. And they retired.
Yeah, so what I went ahead and did is I got a tape measure right here from my man Scott downstairs who sells the suits. So what we can do is we can go ahead and we can put it right here, and we can measure from seam. Get this guy dialed in, seam to seam, without covering the seams. I'm obviously going all leather right here without going over. And this one is going to be running at about 7.5.
Martinez with a swing and a miss. He's got 1 for 2 with a base hit.
And that's about 7.5. And again, without getting annihilated from whoever, but this isn't 100% accurate. And then this one right here is going to go to about 7 3/4. So when you're talking about a ball that's not that big in circumference, and you're getting 1/4 of an inch larger, that's obviously a huge difference from what he's accustomed to.
So it's a slicker baseball. It's a larger baseball that he's throwing now.
Yes.
Than he ever threw in Japan. Do you think that leads to a blister?
I mean, you can't argue against it. I mean, that might be the first thing that you want to go to. He's been over here for a while, and it's probably different calluses in different spots, and but yeah, it's actually a really big difference, the two balls from the Japanese style ball to our.
Yep, there's no doubt about it. And I'll tell you this, Buck Showalter is on the competition committee and the rules committee for baseball. He's been pushing for Major League Baseball to go to the Japanese style baseball for a couple of years now, and believes that it's safer. That tackiness we talked about leads to a better grip, better control and command. When guys are throwing 98, 99, 100 miles an hour like Ohtani, one slip and could end someone's career. So he's been on that for a little while now.
Yeah, and I was kind of toting this ball around the clubhouse today and flipping it in some of the pitchers' hands and seeing their eyes light up in
the reaction.
Yeah, and the enjoyment of wanting to throw this kind of gave me the
throw an
quizzies.
aspirin, yeah.
Jeez. But yeah, it's a huge difference, and I would imagine pitching with a big league ball and then going to a Japanese style ball, you would probably feel more comfortable and be able to get a lot more movement. Now go to a Japanese ball to an American ball, that'd be a real big adjustment.
Well, obviously, his first couple of starts against Oakland, he adjusted just fine. He took a perfect game in the 7th inning against Oakland. He had 12 strikeouts, and Mike Scioscia said, you can't pitch better than that. That one's tagged high and deep. Devers lays into one. The Red Sox, for the 5th time tonight, go yard here in Anaheim. They are pummeling Scioscia's team to make it 9-1. That's number 2 for Devers.
These guys are trying to go Tommy Topper is what I like to call it, and they're going in the top deck against the Anaheim pitchers. They keep going further and further and further, and again, this is the bottom of the lineup, guys. You got JD and Hanley saying we want to get in too, but they're gonna have to wait their turn. Like you said, this ball is pummeled, and right there he knows it. No rush getting out of the box with that swing.
Is that a great swing? Fouled back by Nunez. So 2 home runs by Mookie Betts. Rafael Devers for the 2nd time this year. Jackie Bradley just slaughtered his. Brock Holt crushing a home run as well. And the Swinging Sox are out in front 9-1. You talk about a statement game too.
Yeah, like I mentioned, we came into this for a heavyweight bout. And then we had a knockout in round 2, which was Ohtani due to the blister. And now the bullpen's not holding up very well. And the man that we started, arguably the ace.
That'll be a base hit through the hole for Nunez. So he's aboard. He had scored a run back in the 3rd. He was on when Jackie Bradley crushed his home run. And the Red Sox already have 10 hits, and it's the 4th inning. And half of them are home runs. And here comes Mike Scioscia. So another pitching change. The Red Sox are teeing off in Anaheim. And we will take the break as well. Already 9-1 Boston. And by Franklin Sports, the official batting glove of the Boston Red Sox in Major League Baseball. Boy, the Red Sox running roughshod tonight over the Angels here in Game 1 of this highly anticipated series, certainly for April. The Red Sox have mashed 5 home runs already. One of those by Jackie Bradley, his first of the year, who now takes on Blake Parker, the right-hander, 32 years old, out of their bullpen. He was very good for Scioscia last year. 71 games he appeared in a 2.54 ERA. So he's had a little bit of a dip in velocity this year after that heavy workload. 2 down, a man on. And another base hit. That one smacked through the hole the other way. Boy, Red Sox hitting everything on the screws tonight.
JBJ just logged his 3rd hit in the 4th inning. We got a chance for 5-6 hit game.
Well, you know how hot he can get. 3 for 3 tonight. That'll send up Vasquez. Mookie Betts, the man who started it by blasting a home run as the first batter of the ball game against the Japanese sensation Shohei Ohtani, who developed a blister, the Angels say, and came out of the game after 2 innings. But he was down 3-0 and really laboring out there. Red Sox made him throw a ton of pitches.
Yeah, it was an outstanding plan that they had. It was a plan that probably adjusted throughout, granted only the 2 innings, but he saw a lot of batters and aggressive when they need to be aggressive, and then make them earn those strikes that he wasn't throwing with his off-speed pitches. We'll see if Vassy can shoot the ball to right for an RBI right here. 2-out RBI.
He'll bloop it toward right. That's going to drop for a base hit. Around Nunez. Here's the throw home. A little bit up the line, and he's safe. He got in there with a cagey slide. And the Sox are on top 10-1.
And boy, that's something Vasquez is really doing a great job. Obviously starting last year with this breakout offensive year. but not doing too much. 2 outs, runner on second, just taking what's given to him, not swinging for the fences, knowing his little honey hole is in right field. And when you got a guy like Nunez sliding like this to get you that RBI, if he doesn't touch him. We'll see. Whether this is reviewed or not, this is still a great swing for Vasquez.
They are going to review it to see if there was a tag on the back before he got to the plate. So this play will be under review. Mike Scioscia is challenging the play at home plate.
I'll tell you how our game has changed. I tell you what, if this was 1984, you could look at it basically a yard sale of catching equipment near the on-deck circle, because Maldonado probably would have got ran all the way over on that play right there. That throw taking him into the line. Now Nunez having to do the hook slide with his hand, not even his foot. About 20 years ago, that could have been a serious collision.
Let's see if they can get a definitive look on this. Nunez safe according to Vic Carapazza at home plate, but this is coming back quickly, and he's going to be out. So they're going to rule a tag on the play. So take that run off the board. It is 9-1, and that is out number 3. Angels, and a clash of the 2 best teams in the American League coming in, and the Red Sox are running right past them here in game 1. They have out hit them 12-2, and Brock Holt has been a big part of that with an RBI single and a 2-run homer down the right field line, his first of the year.
He's trying to log that 3-hit night as well. He's going to have a couple opportunities at it.
Jackie Bradley's already gotten there. Mookie Betts has 2 home runs. Rafael Devers has also hit a home run. And the offense exploding, and that's been happening frequently. And that combination of getting 6-7 runs a game, and along with the Red Sox starting pitching, has been deadly for the opposition. 1-1.
And a big thing that stands out with that, so through 15 games from 2017 to 2018, the comparison, obviously the record this year 13-2, last year 9-6, but a run differential of 42 this year, run differential last year of just 0.
Fouled out of play. Here's our refreshing finish brought to you by Coors Light.
This is Brock Holt right there, aiming for the pesky pole, remembering he's on the road. It's going to be a little further, and it still counts right there. Not how far, how many. 1 row deep, 4 total bases, and RBI. Good job, Brock. Swiss Army knife going into his pocket and pulling out the home run blade.
And Parker's 1-2. High chop on the infield to Kinsler. 1 away. First time Brock Holt's been retired tonight. Tonight, after Red Sox coverage of NESN Sports Today, we'll have a full recap of the Sox game here in Anaheim, plus a preview of Game 4 between the Bruins and the Maple Leafs. NESN Sports Today, presented by People's United Bank, where the technology is as helpful as the people.
Similar to Mookie's perfect games, he's perfect on his day so far. It hasn't got out.
2 homers and a walk. Coming off an excellent homestand where he drove in 9 in 9 games and he scored 13 runs. Well, tonight 2 RBIs and 2 runs. A lot of people have been writing who cover Major League Baseball on a daily basis that Mookie Betts is the best player in the game right now. Now that man out center field and a handful of other players, but Mike Trout probably specifically has been called that for a few years now with a lot of justification. Magnificent player. But so is Mookie Betts.
Yeah, Mookie Betts is, and if we are gonna vote, Mookie as the best player right now, he would be taking Mike Trout's crown, who has had it for about 4, possibly 5 years. That guy's pretty special. So for Mookie to be in the same category as Trout says a lot. Now if Mookie wants to take that position over, wow, you got a player.
One, two on the way. That was kind of funny. A moment ago, we caught a shot of Trout glancing up at the gigantic new scoreboard here, looking up over his left shoulder, and he was reading as they have it up there in Mookie's picture. Mookie has bowled several perfect games in his life, including one in the qualifying round of the 2017 World Series of Bowling, which was last November. And Trout was like, really?
That guy can bowl too?
He can do that as perfect games? I mean, because I think Trout likes to bowl, but I don't think he's bowling perfect games.
Yeah, you got to come with it if you want to go to the bowling alley with Mookie Betts.
What a great talent.
Great talent, just all around great for the game. Both these two players right here. Stand up guys, play hard, keep their mouths shut. Just want to hit homers, steal bags, and steal hits on defense. If you're a young kid out there, your parent, tell them to get a Trout jersey and a Mookie Betts jersey, and they'll be in good shape. Follow their careers for a long time.
And you know, they both have different skills that make them incredibly exciting to watch. And their fan base is very, very lucky to have these guys 162 games a year. That one will miss for ball 4, so his perfect night continues. Another perfect game of sorts. CVS Health is investing $50 million over 5 years to extend their commitment to helping people lead tobacco-free lives and move us one step closer toward a tobacco-free generation. You can learn more at cvshealth.com/be-the-first.
Mookie's staying perfect. As many walks as he has homers. That's incredible.
And aboard for the 4th time brings up Benintendi.
I think Benintendi wants into this action.
Fly ball popped up. On comes Trout. And there are 2 down. In front of Hanley Ramirez. Sox have hit 5 home runs in the ball game to lead it 9-1. Hanley has a base hit. He's also grounded out and flied out. Runner on at first and 2 down. Red Sox with a dozen hits. Got off to an excellent start against Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani, the heralded right-hander from Japan, and Mookie Betts hit a bullet out of here to lead off the ball game.
Hanley Ramirez stepping to the plate right here. The one thing that I'd love to see out of Hanley is just one statistic, and that would be RBIs. Because you know these guys are going to be on base. I don't care if he hits 330 or 230. If he's driving runners in, this ball club's going to be in great shape. Where he sits right now at 60 plate appearances and 15 RBIs, that's going to equal at the end of the year 100 RBI plus season. Hanley Ramirez drives in 100. Wow, that would just be right in the middle of that lineup.
Blake Swihart has come to the on-deck area and would hit for J.D. Martinez. With Mookie aboard. And he lets it go for a ball.
Yeah, Hanley coming into this season really simplified his swing. We're obviously accustomed to that big leg kick that he's had, where that leg kick would get up around his waist. And now he's just going foot down early, setting his hands, and letting it go.
I think like Xander Bogaerts before the ankle situation, Xander could say, well, I feel good. You know, my hand feels good. I feel healthy. Same thing certainly applied to Hanley, who last year not only had one bad shoulder, he actually had 2 bad shoulders. But feels great this year. He did all through spring training. And look at the difference. And that's outside to make it 3-2. He's already had several big hits to win games.
that's going to be huge. If he has that eye for the RBI late in the game, so it's obviously going to be off that closer or the setup guy, especially when behind like he's done, tying games and then coming back and winning the ball game. If Hanley Ramirez is driving in runs, this ball club's going to be in great shape.
Betts off the bag at first with 2 down. He'll be running with the pitch. He takes off, and there's a soft line drive caught by Kinsler to retire the side. Boosting employee morale and more. Visit redsox.com/groups for more information. Well, Red Sox with a big lead here, 9-1. We did notice that Blake Swihart had been in the on-deck area to hit for JD Martinez. Zue Lin is now going to the ball game to play short for Brock Holt. And the Red Sox with an 8-run advantage, making a couple of changes here defensively. And it looks like Benintendi is out of the ball game, and Brock Holt has gone to left field. So you can put him on wheels and move him around. The ultra valuable Brock Holt. Kinsler leading off here in the bottom half of the 5th inning, top of the order for the Angels.
I mean, if you look at it, I think what Alex Cora wanted to do in this situation right here is make sure all 3 of his outfielders had home runs.
A high fly ball into left. Boy, if he could pull that off, he's manager of the year right now.
So poor Benintendi didn't have a home run and he got yanked, and they had to put Brock Holt out there to carry the load.
Brock does have one, and so does Jackie, and so does Mookie Betts. Mookie with a pair. So 1 man gone. That'll send up Mike Trout, who has walked and struck out tonight. Nine runs, 12 hits for Boston. 1 run, just 2 hits for the Angels, who have not done much with Mr. Price. Trying to go to 2-1 on the season and send the Red Sox rotation to 10-1.
Mike Trout notorious for taking the first pitch, regardless ball or strike. He likes to see pitches. He's good enough a hitter that he's able to hit with 2 strikes. That pitch right there is one we want to kind of stay away from. Want to get that pitch elevated and stay at that launch angle down and in with Mike Trout.
Price has had his number. Trout is 3 for 22 with 11 punch-outs against Price. Little floater toward right, and that's going to find a home and dunk down for a single. So 1-out base hit, not hard hit by Mike Trout in front of Upton. Well, tomorrow at 9:30, don't miss Red Sox Game Day Live, presented by DCU. TC and Steve will preview tomorrow's matchup between Rick Porcello and Tyler Skaggs. DCU is Digital Federal Credit Union. What can DCU save you? Rick Porcello off to a terrific start. He'll go in 3-0 with a 183 earned run average. Skaggs has been tough. He's a lefty. He's 2-0, 169. So that should be a very strong matchup. But we thought tonight would too. With Ohtani and Price. Price has lived up to his end of it, but Ohtani forced out, they said, because of a blister.
We sure did, and obviously Price's outing is not done yet, so it's just sitting at 4 1/3 right now. 3 hits, 1 run. But let's remember that this ball club, the Anaheim Angels, is #1 in a lot of offensive categories. So for him to hold these Angels in check like he's doing is outstanding outing.
91 right there at the bottom of the zone for a strike. Yep, the Angels came in leading the majors in batting average, home runs, OPS. Most predicted that the Astros would roll to another division title in the AL West, but the Angels, who were 80 and 82 last year, look like they're planning to crash that party. The Red Sox beating them up here in their first encounter of the season. Another situation where the Red Sox got the first run up there thanks to Mookie Betts, then got 2 in the second and 5 in the third, another run in the fourth. Down he goes hacking on 93 miles an hour.
Yeah, and that's him reaching back for a little bit more velo right there and going with the 4-seam fastball. He's going 88, 87 cutter, reaching back for 94 right here. That's going to be a 6 to 7 mile an hour differential. Looked like he was sitting on cutter when he was able to shoot down the left field line. David Price staying in the fight, making adjustments on the fly, and looking great. 5
strikeouts for the lefty. Here's Pujols now. He's 1 for 2. He has driven in their only run tonight with a base hit in the 3rd inning. And he starts him with strike 1 on a changeup, which has really been a great pitch for him, not just tonight.
And the location of that pitch, majority of the time you want your off speed down, but like I was talking about, this launch angle ball club, he's even going 0-0 changeup on the outer upper half. He's pinpoint command, even though he has had those long innings like in the 3rd where they scored 5 and they're playing home run derby. So he has been out there staying sharp.
Yep, Red Sox certainly playing home run derby tonight. 5 home runs for Boston. A season high. And it's only the 5th inning. 1-1. That one socked down the line, but he hooked it foul. The Pujols last year only hit .241, but he also drove in 101 runs.
Like I was talking about Hanley, when you get players like this outside of the resume, when you can just sink them in the middle of the lineup and say, just drive in, guys. If we don't get on, it's not your fault. But when they get on, drive them in. And obviously tonight has driven in that 1 run.
Saw Noe Ramirez working in the Angel bullpen, former Red Sox right-hander. Now here on the West Coast, man at first base and 2 down. He's looking for a K. And got him. He struck him out looking. Pujols livid, but that's strike 3. New Subaru Ascent, featuring all-wheel drive and 3 rows of seats. Love is now bigger than ever this spring. By Digital Federal Credit Union. What can DCU save you? And by your local New England Ford dealers. 9-1. Red Sox with a big lead, and now the Angels have to go the rest of the ball game without Albert Pujols. He has been ejected for arguing balls and strikes. Take a look.
Yeah, and this is the cutter right here. What the cutter does has a lot of late movement, and you'll get a lot of frustrated hitters on the cutter. And with David Price continuing to nail the inner half as well as arm side, 16 inches different, Pujols slams his bat, slams his helmet, and he's basically telling the umpire in a 9-1 ball game, I just want to go sit on the couch in the clubhouse. And the umpire said, okay.
Like a pretty good pitch.
I got that as a strike. And he's probably going to go look at it and be like, oof. Yeah. But I think that's just frustration right there.
Well, Blake Swihart batting for the first time, hitting for JD Martinez in the DH spot. Sox have made several changes with a sizable lead, but continue to pair offense and pitching better than anybody.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Going back to the run differential. So the run differential today, obviously being 8. So when you're able to rack this up, that really says really good pitching, really good offense.
Ways to go yet, but the Red Sox win the ball game. They will start the season 14-2.
And that's it, man. When you're on that wave, when you're riding high, you know there's going to be bumps in the road. Absolutely. 162 game season. But when you're able to pad these leads right here, to pad your falls, to know you're going to be okay. That's why when you're on these high waves, you want pedal to the metal and ride them as long as you can.
You know, I would say this, Johnny. I think right now it's difficult to say whether the Red Sox are a hot baseball team, and I know the record would indicate that, or is this a really, really good ball club simply doing what they are capable of doing, and this is how good they're going to be. I'm not saying, you know, win 14 out of every 16 games necessarily, but I mean, when you start out a season like this, how do you know for sure if it's a hot streak or just a really terrific ball club playing really well and mounting wins? That's for sure. That is out number 1.
I always look at it with your starting 5. Starting 5, is it going to be really tough to do to go a 5-day span and losing all 5? You're going to lose 3, you're going to lose 4, but will you lose all 5? With the rotation that they're showcasing, I find it really hard to believe that they can go on a 5-game slide,
right?
Which says a lot. Then you go to the offensive side and you go, can we go deep 1 through 9? And you're obviously seeing it tonight. They do have 1 through 9 power, so they can limit the slides with the starting rotation. I don't think you're going to buzzsaw through this starting rotation and go on a 3-game win streak, go on the road, and that team beats you twice. And then can you go deep 1 through 9?
Devers blasted a home run his last time. Man, did he hit it.
Yeah, man, did he hit it. And man, has he been hitting them for a while since he's been up here. Now, one thing that kind of gets lost in the shuffle with Devers, and he's playing the hot corner, third base in the American League East with Donaldson, with Machado, and some big names. And what kind of gets lost is this kid's age. I mean, he's set Major League Baseball records for his age and his offensive statistics.
Hot shot and a base hit past the lunging Kinsler. Devers now 2 for 4. It's a whole new ball game at RBI Baseball 18. RBI Baseball delivers an all-new franchise mode and much more. RBI Baseball now available. Learn more at RBIGame.com. Rated E for everyone. 13 hits for the Sox tonight and counting.
Devers, home run, single, doing it. Like I said, 21 years old.
Haven't been many occasions where he has looked his age, that's for sure, with the bat in his hands. Like none.
Like none. And at times when you start to scratch your head, boom, he snaps out of it and makes the adjustment on the fly.
Nunez 1 for 3, a single.
When you're talking about how long this game's been going on, and he's the first player ever to have 8 home runs in his first 20 Major League games before turning 21.
Line drive, going to double him up and retire the side on the soft line drive, and that'll be it for the Sox.
Price cut him up with the cutter, starting offside, coming inside right there. That's elevated at the belt. The one guy you can go down and into is Cozart right here. Down for a ball on the changeup, elevated heater right there, and then boom right there for Albert Pujols, and he's had enough and had to go in the clubhouse.
Now Pujols ejected, but that was a great pitch to strike him out. The 6th of the ball game, and the last one for the left-hander David Price, and now Brian Johnson coming on out of the bullpen. On in relief to take on Cozart, Calhoun, and Simmons. Red Sox rolling again in all phases, 9-1 over the Angels. Many pointing to this series and saying, well, it's the two best teams in the American League for the first time, and the Red Sox are running right by them here in Game 1.
Yeah, they're running right by him after a 4-hour-plus flight from the East Coast and coming into their house in a sold-out crowd on a Tuesday.
Yeah, my watch said 6 hours plus, John.
6 hours plus? You guys didn't hit the jet stream? Or was that the other way?
We got no push at all, believe me.
Wow.
We were going right into the headwind.
You were gaining temperature as you were coming out. Would you start at like 20 degrees, and by the time you got here, 80?
Then. Exactly right. The 2-2. It was delightful to land. A swing and a miss, and down he goes as Cozart strikes out for the second time, one away in the 6th. Get excited, America. Dunkin' Go-Tos are here. 2 breakfast sandwiches for $2, $3, or $5. America runs on Dunkin'. Participation may vary. Limited time offer restrictions apply. It's amazing how the game works, though. So often there's build-up to a game like tonight. You know, it's David Price against Ohtani. It's the Red Sox and the Angels. You figure this is going to be nip and tuck, right? It's probably going to be 2-1, 1-0 as you go to the 9th inning. No, not tonight. Not the way the Red Sox swung the bats, and David Price did his part, a fly to center field, and 2 down.
Yeah, but I tell you what, it wasn't just hype. I mean, the numbers were there. We broke down the offensive numbers. We broke down the historical start for the Red Sox and the Angels. Ohtani coming out, being the absolute gem that he is, both sides, and he's coming off 2 great, outstanding outings. It was all there. It was all there for a heavyweight bout. It didn't end up that way.
Early knockout.
Early knockout. Shocker. Shocker.
It's a very confident Red Sox team.
As they should be.
Very confident about the talent up and down the roster. And as Chris Sale said, we just come to the ballpark expecting to win every single day and want to maintain that. You know, maintain that attitude, that poise. And right now, just beat people up.
They are. There's nothing better in our game of baseball to be in an organization to where you are truly shooting for the trophy at the end of the year. That's the best feeling.
Feeling you know very well. Here comes the 0-2 to Simmons. Strike 3 as he'll take a seat. Red Sox zip through the inning. Red Sox text alerts. To sign up, text Red Sox to 536-536. Message and data rates may apply. Some changes here for the Angels. Red Sox with a commanding 9-1 lead. You remember Chris Young. He has a job now at the Angels, former Red Sox outfielder. He's now in center. Balbuena takes over at third base, with Cozart moving from third over to short. And the Red Sox will have the top of the batting order coming up. That'll be Mookie Betts, who's had a major night. Mookie with a pair of home runs. He's also walked twice. Zue Lin would hit next. Sox have out hit the Angels 13-4, and there's another one. He smokes it deep. Backing up Upton. Kissing goodbye. The 3rd home run of the ball game for Mookie Betts. Putting on a show in front of Mike Trout and the Angels. And the Red Sox are in front 10-1. A 3-home run game for Mookie.
Wow, pretty remarkable how it all pans out. The inning that Mike Trout comes out of the game because it's out of hand. Mookie Betts steps in for his 3rd home run of the night. Mookie Betts just got himself the turkey.
It's the third time in his career he's done that. Hit 3 home runs in a single game. So not to say it's routine, but he's been down this road before.
Unbelievable. If you start getting good at that, that is remarkable. Is he a free swinger, home run hitter? Well, he's also got 2 walks tonight to back it. That he's got the eagle eye with the big bear power.
So he has 5 for the season. You gotta love that smile.
That's beautiful. And I tell you what, I think some people just woke up back in Boston with someone screaming right there so late in the evening.
What can you do? I mean, you know.
Yeah.
When you're good, you're good.
Yeah, when you're good, you're good. You just see it, hit it, put a good swing on it, boom, goes over the fence. No big deal.
Goodness. So Zhu-Wei Lin. Red Sox have hit 6 home runs tonight, half of those by Mookie. As Lin strikes out, we'll take a look at those cuts.
Let's talk about greatness right here. Velocity 98 down below the knees that he's able to drive out to left center. Then he backs it to a new pitcher, hanging slider. I got that covered too. 2 homers, 2 different pitches, 2 different pitchers. Can we do it 3 times? Look at that swing right there with the hanging slider. He knew it. That was a big one that he got right there. A little fast out of the box on the first one. And then boom, deep for the 3rd time, 3 different pitches, 3 different pitchers. Pretty remarkable.
Here's Mitch Moreland batting for the first time tonight. He's hitting in the 3 spot. 14 Red Sox hits, and 6 of them have gone over the fence. On a night where Shohei Ohtani, the talk of baseball, started the game for the Angels.
Yeah, that story probably wasn't written in inning 1 when this started.
A 10-1 lead with the home run ball. This is a completely different offense, Johnny, than a year ago.
That's a fact.
Totally different.
You talk about this power, you talk about the grand slams that was lacking of last year that they already have 3 of. You talk about attacking the heater, attacking the strike zone. This was a total overhaul of American League East champs. They were already good, but to be able to build on that in one offseason and to have a really good team, great, you got to have a good bench. And you have Mitch Moreland coming off the bench in a blowout game right here. Not only does he have gold at first, but he's going to come in and put a competitive at bat and a deep threat.
Yep, speaks to the depth of the Red Sox, the quality depth they have. The 3-1. And he'll take ball 4. So Mitch is on. And Blake Swihart will be next. A quick reminder, the Lexus Strikeout Hunger program is underway. Log on to NESN.com/strikeouthunger for an exclusive interview with Lexus of Northborough President Mitch Cook, who shares the story of how Lexus and the Red Sox have teamed up to help provide almost 500,000 meals to families in need. That's NESN.com/strikeoutunger. Blake Swihart will look at a strike.
And another competitive at bat, switch hitter, power from both sides that can come off the bench for Alex Cora if needed.
I'm telling you, all night long we've noticed this. This was the quietest big crowd of the year, because the Red Sox got a run right away and a home run from Mookie, his first, against Ohtani. 2 more in the second. Then Ohtani left the ball game. Marte fires down to second to get the force on Moreland, and that's all they get. And then the Red Sox exploded for 5 runs in the 3rd inning. Home runs by Mookie Betts, Jackie Bradley, and Brock Holt in that inning. And I mean, it was crickets here in Anaheim. You could hear the traffic on the freeway.
You could, and I tell you what, the sounds coming off these boys' barrels were loud. The barrels, the cracks of these home runs going 1, 10, 12, 15 rows deep were louder than the 45,000 plus Angel fans tonight.
Rafael Devers has a home run as well. He also has a hard hit single, so he's gone 2 for 4. That one up for Marte. He'll take it and flip it to the pitcher. Bedrosian, who gets there to retire the side, but Mookie strikes again. .com/veteran to learn more. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Well, Red Sox looking to wrap it up here as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Heck of a start to the road trip. Coming in here to Anaheim against the 13-3 Angels and just pounding. Here's Marcus Walden now out of the pen. Marcus earned his first major league save in Saturday's win against the Orioles as he tossed the final 3 innings in a Red Sox 10-3 win. And did not walk anybody. Brian Johnson really good coming out of the bullpen, wasn't he?
I tell you what, I mean, it was kind of silent, kind of sneaky being in a 10-1 ball game, but crucial innings to come out and just keep the game where it is. Couple walks, no harm, no foul if they don't come in and touch the plate. Got his strikeouts, got his ground balls. What a weapon to have down there.
Gave up just 1 hit in 3 innings. Well, it's all clicking for the Boston Red Sox.
Great effort. Was able to get 3 more outs. He would have got a 10-1 ball game save.
0-1 pitch.
Unique stat in our game.
Really is.
Yeah.
Bryant tossing 43 pitches. He was scheduled to go on Monday if that game had been played and was not rained out against Baltimore. That game has been rescheduled, incidentally, for the 17th of May. Both the Sox and the Orioles had an off day on that day. They will not have to play a doubleheader. Next time the Orioles come to Fenway.
I don't know how many of our viewers are still up, but I tell you what, it was a pleasure to call this game, to watch this ball club play how they did. Coming into this, what we called a heavyweight bout, Ohtani, and just stuck to a plan. I mean, the baseball IQ just really stuck out for me for this ball club. And I got to hang out with you.
Oh, wasn't that? See? What a night for you, Johnny.
That's a 9-inning home run for me.
Great to have you back, and you'll be with us all the way through the Oakland series after this one. Your other gig.
Yes. So I actually have a temperature clause in my contract.
You do? Well,
yes.
I like that deal. Who's your agent?
Exactly.
Well, pointed down, Hacking, as Walden gets his first man, 1 away. Clearly, we don't have that, me and Jerry and Eck.
Nice pitch right here. Circle change up, was ahead in the count, not weaving it up. Below the launch angle on the off speed, above the launch angle on the fastball, sticking to a good plan.
Every time a Sox pitcher strikes out an Angel, Lexus will donate $50 to the Greater Boston Food Bank. Well, game 2 coming up tomorrow night. Here from warm Southern California, Rick Porcello against a left-hander by the name of Tyler Skaggs. High chop, Devers handles that, and a strike to get him. 2 down. So 1 more out to get. The Red Sox can celebrate what will be an immensely satisfying victory. They've had many of them early on, and the Sox are on the doorstep of going to 14-2.
Yeah,
what a start.
14-2. Tomorrow's starting pitchers, both of them undefeated, both of them with a sub-2 ERA. Again, must-watch TV.
And Rick Porcello trying to go to 4-0. Here's the catcher, Maldonado. He's gone over 2 with a walk. He scored their only run. That was back in the 3rd inning when briefly it was a ball game. Not for very long, though.
Yeah, a lot of things got to line up. Rick Porcello going for the win tomorrow. With the date being the 18th, that being tomorrow, he's going to have a chance to flip it back around and have a 5-win month.
Well, they had over 40,000 in the ballpark tonight, but It never sounded like it. Not for a minute. Bounding ball in the infield, Lynn. And that does it. The Red Sox have won again tonight, coming into Anaheim and beating up on the Angels 10-1. 6 home runs for the Red Sox, 3 by Mookie Betts. TC, I know you're up late back east. Take it away.